The European woke left is beginning to freak out over the astonishing rise of the Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni. Last September, Meloni's election led to the formation of the single most right-wing government that Italy has seen in decades, and the results speak for themselves. Giorgia Meloni is now officially the single most popular leader in the whole of the European Union. Meloni has a 52% approval rating among Italians, which is the highest for any current European leader. And 52% is huge for Italian politics in particular, and as you can see, European politics in general. And it's all because she has pursued a solidly nationalist, populist, and traditionalist agenda, the success of which is spreading way beyond Italy. Now, one of the first changes the Meloni government made was to national birth certificates, particularly those of children born to non-biological lesbian mothers. Among traditional birth certificates, the name of the father and the mother, the actual birthing parents, were always listed, but increasingly, it became the practice to list the names, for example, of a lesbian couple where only one is an actual birth parent. That practice is now over in Italy. Only the name of the biological mother can be listed on the birth certificate. In fact, the city of Padua, they have actually already begun removing the names of non-biological gay mothers from their children's birth certificates. So they're actually enacting these measures retroactively. And the Italian government's gone even further. They've banned same-sex surrogacy. Same-sex couples are disproportionately dependent on surrogacy for adopting children, and the Meloni government has effectively shut that down in Italy. Now, there's a fascinating connection with this and Italy's crackdown on immigration. Meloni spearheaded a deal with Tunisia, to curb migration in exchange for financial support. And in June, the Meloni government impounded 2 migrant rescue ships that were accused of violating a new law designed to limit their activities. Italy has also begun to crack down on migration as a whole through special executive powers granted by a recent declaration of emergency. Now, what's so fascinating is how both of these government policies, the pro-family policies and the anti-immigrant policies, coalesce in Meloni's call for Italians to have more babies, less migrants, which of course is absolutely flipping out the woke left. What's so neat here is I got to hear Meloni speak in person at the World Congress of Families. She was absolutely amazing. And in that speech, she highlighted the demographic winter that's plagued Italy's fertility. And she basically said that if Italians don't start having more kids, they're not going to have a nation in the not-so-distant future. And the only way you have kids is by restoring the traditional family, where fertility is an intrinsic component. Meloni has long argued that if you don't restore the traditional family and the demographic flourishing that comes from such a restoration, everything else falls apart. Again, this is why we're seeing a flourishing not just of nationalism and populism in Italy, but also of traditionalism. All three need each other and imply one another. Nationalism, populism, and traditionalism. You have got to restore the centrality of the traditional family, and you've got to defend the sovereignty and security of your borders if you want to have a country in the future. You need both. And that message and that success that it's having in Italy is spreading throughout the whole of the European continent, and it has the woke left absolutely panicked. And you know what else is panicking the woke left? The huge buying spree going on right now all over the world with gold and silver. And just days from now, dozens of nations will be meeting in South Africa to discuss a new trade currency backed by gold. And you don't want to miss out on this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to get in on the action. And we've got amazing friends to this channel who can help you do just that. We've partnered with the top-rated precious metals company Goldco, who've helped patriots across the nation move over $1 billion into gold and silver. You heard that right. They're absolutely amazing. Click on that link below right now. And for those of you with retirement accounts, the patriots over at Goldco are offering you up to $10,000 $1,000 in free silver when opening a qualified IRA account with them. And for cash buyers, gang, you're going to love this. You can get bonus silver just for making a purchase. So if you buy $15,000 worth of precious metals, you're going to get $750 in bonus silver. If you buy $25,000 in precious metals, you're going to get over $1,200 worth of bonus silver. But that's only as long as supply lasts. So don't wait. Click on that link below. This is your opportunity to get in on the ground floor of this amazing worldwide buying spree of gold-backed currency. The timeless value of gold and silver is more valuable than ever. Click on that link below right now. With almost a year to go before the next round of European parliamentary elections, pundits are already recognizing that the European Parliament is poised to shift dramatically to the right. What's happening here is that the European Greens are basically collapsing across the continent. Europeans, they're more and more feeling the deleterious effects of the imploding material conditions due to green policies. And so the leftist parties are expected to collapse from 77 seats that they currently hold in the European Parliament to barely 60. So what's astonishing here is that pollsters are finding voters are not abandoning the far left in order to move into, say, more the mainstream left or even the mainstream center-right parties. They're going for the anti-establishment so-called far-right parties. One coalition in the European Parliament is called the ECR, the European Conservatives and Reformists Group. They're an alliance made up of Giorgia Meloni's Brothers of Italy, as well as Poland's Nationalist Populist Law and Justice Party. They're predicted, as things stand right now, they're predicted to gain upwards of 23 seats in the next election. And the other Patriot coalition, the Identity and Democracy Group, the ID Group, which includes the surging AfD in Germany, they're expected to gain seats as well, going from 62 to upwards of 80 seats. And all this is doing is it's forcing the mainstream center-right coalition known as the EPP, or the European People's Party, to move further right. So the EPP dominates the European Parliament, but in the end, they're all neocons, right? They're rhino types. However, because of the strength of the hard right, they're having to adopt more and more of their policies in order to stay into power. And so the president of the EPP, Manfred Weber of Germany, he's courting these other right-wing alliances like the ECR and Identity and Democracy in order to expand their majority. And so pundits are noticing a very fascinating turn to the right, even inside Brussels. And ironically, the nation that has one of the major roles in that turn is Hungary. The Fidesz party left the EPP group due to differences of opinion, obviously, over migration. But they're playing a very important role of mediating between the two factions, the neocon, EPP, and these more far-right alliances. And so it's so fascinating that in the end, Hungary may be playing this very important mediating role in this. So we're seeing this massive turn to the right, at least potentially, for the bullies in Brussels. And if we see an overwhelming nationalist populist revival happening across the continent in Europe and making its way into these European parliamentary elections, we may have a young Italian prime minister to thank for it. Hey gang, I know what it's like to feel alone out there in these turbulent times, but I broke free. If you too have been looking for a community with like-minded patriots who are serious about resisting globalism, building a parallel economy, and having intelligent and deep fellowship on a regular basis, then you've come to the right place. In my Courageous Patriot Insiders community, we're building a close-knit movement of, by, and for patriots who are breaking free from the outrage and despair cycles of the mainstream media and taking on the fight against globalism. Every week, I deep dive into the content I can't share on big tech and give you the cliff notes on the truth of how patriots just like you are building up their communities, starting patriot businesses, and fighting the woke in both public and private. All with a few history and political lessons from yours truly, of course. If you want to stop feeling alone as a patriot and stand together with this fast-growing community, be sure to click on the link in the description below. Don't wait. Join me and my Patriot Coalition today, and let's get fighting.